All right, I think we're live. It's been a while. Hopefully, we'll do two different versions with this one. One, we're going to just do this stream as people come in today, and some of you guys will watch this video. I'm also going to do a second video of a sped up, condensed one. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. That one might have more like instructional talk, just a little more condensed. Okay, so we're going to be drawing today is these characters here. Let me just bring them up here. This one. Okay. This is one of my favorite board games, Gloomhaven. A lot of people have been posting about it on like board game websites and stuff. If you're not a big board game player, that's cool. But I wanted to go through and add my little chibi flair to each of them. So we got two of them knocked down. Let me just bring over the next one we're going to be working on, called the Cragheart. Excuse me. So it's this guy. And a lot of what I've been doing too is just I'll say swiping the exact same pose. I figure the audience that's looking at this is board game players and they're familiar with the source material. So instead of going and trying to figure out like a more spectacular pose for these characters, probably makes a lot more sense for the audience I'm trying to hit with them to make it err on the side of more relatability as opposed to being unique. I'll let the style be that, if that makes sense. So let me just move that over there and make another documento. Toss it over there. Let's just zoom out here. Forgot how little room I have while we're streaming. Might have to bump it up to 5 different monitors going on here. Okay, should be good. And I haven't done anything yet for this one, so I thought it'd be cool to just stream it right from the get go. All right. I usually like to start with the head. Figure out where a character's looking. And like I said, luckily the reference has already been done. All the hard work has already been done by whoever this other artist is that did all the artwork. I should really find out. Reach out to them. Or at least check out some of their other stuff. With this Chibi stuff I've been doing too. I know, it has been ages. How are you guys doing? How have you been? I've been good. I've just been taking it pretty easy, to be honest with you. We got the baby coming, what is it, end of next month? Early July? Somewhere around there, so try to just take it easy until then, because I know a lot of time's just going to get eaten up. That's not a bad thing. Oops, wrong button. But other than that, yeah, I've been good. Just been relaxing. How about you, man? Still drawing? You better be. So I'm just going to duplicate the head here. Just gives me a little bit of a guide so that usually the characters here... I'll keep bringing these up because I know people might want to see them or I'll make reference to them later. Let me just zoom out here so they can fit on the screen. Right, so you can see like the size of this dude's head is the same as the lower body. This is classic Chibi stuff. I think hers is a little bit more stretched out, just for the females. This isn't it, so there's no... but they look pretty muscular. The model actually in game's pretty small. So we'll get the little body going on this way. It's got a much bigger upper body, which I'm more used to. I've got this one chibi that I'm going to throw at you guys soon. I have to draw it. It's still in my head. Of JESOP King. I just wanted to see what the reaction would be to it. It's kind of a weird pose. I'm going to take some liberties here. Bring some of that superhero into it. Yeah, I've been a big fan of drawing this chibi stuff lately. And you guys that have been following me, you guys probably have seen it from time to time, as we go. Some of you don't like it, which is fine. And then other people, they don't seem to mind it. What I like about it is that it's pretty quick, and I still get a nice finished drawing at the end. Let's just fix up these legs here. And it's been interesting to be honest with you guys. And I mean, it makes sense, but it's probably, well, it's not probably, it is the most, I don't want to say popularity or fame, but attention that I've gotten from anything I've done, which is, interesting. There's lots of times when I was just drawing like how most of you probably remember it, like we'll call it the more heavy comic book style. And yeah, there could be lots of reasons as to why it might not have been good, all that kind of stuff. But this kind of stuff here has just been getting a lot more attention. I've made so far, and it's not all about money at all, but talking amongst artists here, it's the most money I've made, really doing much anything besides like a comic commission itself. Like if somebody's wanted me to do something for them, like a comic or something like that, then that usually makes more money because there's a lot more volume of work there, right? But prints and personal commissions, this stuff, just been eating it up. And I dig it. I dig it. Emblem is saying, still drawing? Good. Joined a number of conventions selling prints of stickers. Oh, I'm proud of you, dude. Good for you. Hey, Kevin. How you doing, buddy? Just like the good old days with different art. Yep. Chibi so well as stickers. I believe it. So this stage here, figured I may as well talk a little shop with you guys. Usually takes, maybe not takes the longest, but definitely more time. Because the way I look at it is this one here, this stage, lets us know if there's even a point to keep going. And the next step after this is the most important one, because if we screw that up, it's just going to reverberate through the rest of it every step going forward. And you'll see, we're almost there. This stuff is just super simple. And so what I've been doing with these, and it's actually been funny, the board game community that is just, there's a massive group of people like myself that love Gloomhaven. That's the game. And there's been people talking about getting these printed as like 3D models. And again, here, let me just bring over the reference, because I'll pop it in from time to time just for comparison, right? So we have this, we're turning it into this, right? So this is very much high fantasy, beautiful stuff, and taking it into a much, different realm. But there's been a lot of interest in that stuff, as well as like printing them out, so people could just use like standees or something, which is something I might actually consider doing myself. But these little platforms, think of it like if you've ever played a board game like Monopoly, or, you don't have to play these heavy games, but there's usually a base that people will sit on. So if you imagine cutting this out like a sticker, you could put like a little standee here so they would stand up, right? So this bottom part's been the same for everyone. So it's still going to be the same here, except what we're going to do is I'm going to add a little chunk, because the Cragheart's all about like earth magic. So we can add like a little bit of debris, like right there. And then I can't wait. This has been the only character I actually get to add like little debris everywhere, So that's going to be good. I think this is fine. I don't think we need to go any further. Alright, so let's just save her up. And what we'll do is we'll delete that. Let's put that in a layer. We'll go roughs. And then we're going into, thumb. Named it wrong. Thumb for thumbnail. And then we're going to go to rough. And this is what the rough's going to look like, right? So this is where we're going to start worrying about the actual detail. And then we're going to go into the line art. Just for those that haven't seen this in a while. Line art. Just clean up a little bit of line art. Then we go into inks. Going to go into some color. Then we're going to go into the effects. And then it goes pretty quick. You'll see. For those of you that are sticking around for the whole thing. Alright, so let's make this guy nice and juicy. And I like opening them up since they're all like, they all live in the same world, like it's all the same characters. I like having the file already there because it lets me kind of compare what the hell's going on. Let's actually turn the opacity down on this guy. So I can go in here and I can see, like, compare head sizes. So you see how this guy, the brute in the background, the red lining, is a little bit bigger. Means I can make this guy. Yeah, we can. Let's push it just a little bit. And like I said, you can see where the ground's going to change. We're going to adjust that as we get there. But anyway, okay. Oh, I want to talk, excuse me, talk to you guys about this too. Hey, Cookie, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. You drawing today too? I was talking to some cats at work. Sorry. Early morning coffee, get the, like, gargly throat. So I had to make this little, like, tutorial sort of thing to help out the other designers at the game studio for how I was doing chibis. And it's just something I stumbled along across or whatever. I remember a guy back in college, he would do faces, right, like real people or whatever, but he would always just use dots. And what I never liked about that is whenever I would draw comics or whatever, right, like you guys remember, I would draw like cylinders, get a little bit more of a dynamic head in here, right? But I always use like this line here is like the brow, and I get to like carve in, you know, like the eyes. And what that lets me do, right, is like I can figure out where the nose is going to be, and this is sort of like how I build off of this stuff. This is, I don't know, I call this, I consider this, you know, like classic superhero kind of stuff, right? But this line right here, super important, and then I get to carve in like the eyes and then the eyebrows and all that stuff. When I would see him do this sort of thing, he would just use dots. And I never asked the guy. He was a little bit of a weird guy, so I just never really talked to him. But no, I know. I just didn't want to say your name. I know I've said it before, but maybe just in case. I know who you are. Anyway, so what I've noticed is with the chibi stuff, and what I really have been doing going forward is just using those little dots as eyes. And what they do is it just moves things around faster. Like I can just start making sense of stuff. You know, if we had a face looking up, it's good to know all the faces of a sphere here, right? So we can cut the sides, you know, like an ear would go here. But this line lets me just toss in eyes. And what this does is if I just lower the transparency here, like now I can go ahead and I can add those eyes over top. You know what I mean? If you want to put like the evil eyes here, that's fine. And this is like a normal cartoonist thing, and some of you guys might already actually do this, I don't know. But I've never really done it. I've done it more this guy over here, where it's like more construction based. But anyway, the only reason I wanted to bring that up was because you can see when we're doing this guy here, you know, I just have it there. The eyes don't necessarily need to be focusing this way, but it's just a very quick way to go, okay, well, that's where the eyes should be, you know? Anyway, just want to bring that up. Gasp. Okay, so let's go here. Let's drop that opacity. And we're going to go into our chibi thing here, grab our pencil, and we're going to go red. Alright, so now this is where things get spicy. So, we're going to worry about the anatomy first here. Okay, so let me get some of these hands. I believe he got rocks in his hands. I don't like that. So what we're going to do, we're just going to leave the debris. We're going to do 1, 2. Be really nice and simple. You can tell I haven't talked a lot, especially for like these streams. My voice is getting all craggly. What we're worrying about here too, guys, is just the first drawing we had is more like the gesture and the idea of what we're doing. This is, like I said, this is the most important part, in my opinion. It doesn't matter how pretty it looks if you can't nail this part down, or if you fail at nailing this down, errors that you made will come up. So anatomy errors or anything, structural errors. I'd rather worry about getting all the anatomy and the costume down here, as opposed to when we get into the nice, you know, clean final lines. It's just I don't know, it's a waste of time. A lot of us, I know I was like this too, just want to rush and get like that nice, pretty drawing done. But you're really doing yourself a disservice if you skip this. If you skip understanding the form and the structure of what you're making, no matter what, you'll have to figure this out. So you may as well figure it out in the beginning. Like this guy doesn't have abs, but I know from the comic background. And when I say comic background, I just mean, all the superhero stuff that I used to draw, because all of that was a lot of years of studying anatomy. Not that I nailed it at all, but I get a little bit more of a confidence to it. And without that, a lot of this just starts falling apart. See, so here, like this arm is supposed to go in here, not there. And and again, I know I'm repeating myself as usual, but if you don't figure this out here, you will have to figure it out at some point. Whether you just skip this and you go right into like nice line art or inky lines, a lot of this, it's got to get done. So you may as well do it when you can kind of still be scribbly with it. Next question, yeah, I drew something last night and it took much longer than it should because I had to fix a huge mistake. Actually, it's funny. What was the mistake? Is it anything like what I'm bringing up? Okay, so I'm noticing on the reference here that this character's upper body is a lot bigger than the lower. So let's see if we shrink this up. I think I like making this bigger. Let's see here. Go this route instead. Let's try this one. I'm going to do a little combo of both here. Okay, so bring that in like that. Okay, we'll fix this up in a second. Let's go ahead and make this stuff. Actually, I think the arm is fine. Maybe we can just beef this up here. Alright, let's clear all this up. Fix it. Actually, you know what? We could probably get like a more superhero style chest. The chest on this character is all blown out, like it's going to be ripped up, so it doesn't really matter, but I can still contour the anatomy around this stuff. Let's flip it, see how it's looking. Okay. Oops. It's that you drew a group of characters but did the line art on separate layers, then would fix everything up and then put them together, and I forgot that the opacity down. Oh, Jesus. Yep, we've all been there. Or one of my least favorite things is when you realize you're drawing on like the background layer. Like it's not so bad with line art because you can just like separate it in Clip Studio, right? But when you're coloring or something, oh my god. Yeah, I feel your pain. Alright, so we gotta get a shoulder and a bicep. Does that look weird? That might be alright. Give him little knuckles. Okay, so we should be okay. Might have to change some of this here. Couldn't fix my guys. I'm sorry to hear that. Alright, we're gonna do a new layer. Hey Nimrod, how you doing, brother? What time is it over there? It's gonna be what, in the evenings? Or is it early morning? I always get it backwards. think it's super early. Okay, let's get this guy's face. So this face is going to look, like right now I don't know if you guys can see it, you can get like a cute little face in there, whatever. Or like I was joking about earlier, right? Watch this. JESOP's looking real good. But so this guy's kind of got like this weird rocky kind of face here. And kind of evil looking. So I want to make him look a little cute, but you still got to make them look like they're supposed to, right? You need familiarity with people that are used to these characters. So the head kind of comes up. Kind of have to change the shape a little bit of this. It's like this weird thing. And then the face comes down. Some of this we got to take a little bit of liberties on, right? Yeah, they didn't have it. So I'm still going to bring in this big cheek. The cheek, like, just makes everything cuter. Although, you know what I'm not liking? What I didn't do? Let's back this up. What I screwed up. So I'm not taking into account this nice, we want them kind of looking up, right? We don't want to lose that. So let's bring the eyes up. Just gives a little bit of dynamic energy to it, right? Yeah. We'll figure out the rest of the head when we go there. Let's look at the side plane. Shoot that big chunky cheek. A vacuum cheek. We go there. Okay, now their mouths, they don't have ears. At least not that I can tell. Actually, let's see if we can crunch that head in there a little bit more. I don't like having room for a neck with these chibi characters. They start to look, to me, they look a little weird. We'll try maybe down here, see how it goes. Okay. Screaming, for sure. We get like these chunks kind of coming in here. I will say too, if you guys are into board games at all, Gloomhaven's really good. From a creative standpoint too, you guys check it out. One thing fantasy is really known for is like just unique characters and races, right? And that's one thing I'll definitely admit with this game. Like there's not elves and dwarves and stuff like that. It's like these things. Like these races, like they might look whatever. This character here is like I believe it's like a plant, or no, or it might be a race of plant or a fungus or something, but they live deep underground in the mountains, and that's why they get all these crystals growing all over them. They live forever, which I thought was pretty cool. These guys, I'm not too sure. They're just more like, if I had to compare it to anything, like Wookiees and ogres and trolls kind of thing. Just a big muscle. And then these are its. There's no men or women. Except they'll have their chest blown out. There's something like there's like a energy or a heart or something in there. I don't know if they earn it or they get it taken away. Something like that. I could read the back. We could all learn together. But that's what I'm doing there is I'm just trimming the top of the head here. That way it really sinks it down so the character's really looking up in the sky. This looks hopefully a lot better. Or when you've been drawing on the sketch layer, didn't realize until it's far too late. I think the mouth works. It's kind of got like I was going to say a venom look, but that's not true. Looks like he's kind of got a scar over his eye. I don't know if that's real. And then what we're going to do is we're going to like add some texture like this. Maybe we'll add some more rock. This, because they are pretty much a rock. They look like they got fur, but it's just rock. It's going to look along this line where I like tone down the texture in there. I think when you leave a lot of the line art looking like this, if you don't push the detail back, things can start looking super heavy. I think we'll go like that far. I don't want the eyes going. You push the eyes out there, it looks a little feminine. Something like that. Okay, so this is all the hard work I was telling you about. All right, so that's done. This arm here, it's you see how it's getting lost with the arm behind it. Let me try something here. See if we can just rotate all of this. And what I'm talking about is it's like here. Let me show you. If we were to make a layer, oops, yes, like this. Remember we always talked about silhouettes back in the day, right? Watch this. So if I fill this whole character red or black, whatever you want to fill it. I'm just going super quick and gross here, right? So we fill it in here. Look at like this over here looks like a mess. It almost looks like the hands down here and all that. But over here it's a lot more clear. So it's a big deal because you might not notice it, but when color gets applied like this, like it starts getting flat. You know, like all in here is a mess, but I could push color back, but the shapes are clear. So here, when somebody looks at it this far, it needs to read. And over here is kind of like a mess, might look like a gun or something like that. But when you turn it off, this is the most simple version of it. It has to work here. And it's always different. You're the artist, right? So you get to choose what's working and what's not working. But this kind of thing is bad, in my opinion. You know, once we add line art and color, it just gets busier, so it gets worse. So if this part's not working, even adding more detail is just not, it's not going to necessarily make it always better. So just something to be aware of if you can fix it. So what I'm going to try to do, in saying all that, here, let me just curve this chest up here. Okay. What I'm suggesting I do here, so just cleaning up some of this stuff here, is going in here, and this might not work. I might have to redraw it. And seeing if we can do something similar like what we did with the arm there. So if I can rotate it this way, or maybe we can rotate it that way. Break his arm. See, if I go this way, I know 100% it's going to be fine. We'll bring it in this way. Have to change the thumb up. I think this is the better call. Okay, we'll redraw this. Nice clean lines here, right? Boom, like that. Boom, boom, boom. Something like that. And we can get busy on the other side. Okay, so I think this works a little better. Right, let's set that up. What's that, Cookie? What are your thoughts on Pokemon? Is that the one coming out for the Switch? If it is, I thought it looked really good. I don't have one, so I'll have to see you play it. Yeah, it looks really good. I was talking to a guy at work, and this is where I sound really old. I remember sitting in the bathtub playing Pokemon Blue when it first came out, and I bought a Game Boy Color for it. And this is before like internet didn't exist. I'm pretty sure it didn't exist. We just had like magazines for gaming, and I remember flipping through one, and I always wanted a Game Boy, so I saved up from work, bought one that day, and my buddy came with me and he bought red. That was awesome. But I haven't stuck with the series too much. Okay, let's toss the armor on this guy. Okay, so first off, actually, let me get the shoulder pieces going in here because they're a little bit more complicated. So how's this wrapping around? So we're going this way. It's got like that metal chunkiness to it. We're going in here like that. Go like that. Go like that. That's a weird curve. It's got like this weird curve coming at us here. Actually, that's wrong. I'm going to go that way with it. And then in here, you got like this really cool ornate chunk, something like that. And then we get awesome spikes. Just gotta have spikes, right? I'm wondering, let's see if make this a little bit bigger. Feels a little bit more menacing that way. We can rotate it. I just don't want to cover up its mouth too much, right? Edit, transform, mesh. Let's bring all this down here. Something like that. Drake talked about doing yesterday. Basically just showing some sort of Pokemon I want to do for that. Oh, cool. How'd that turn out? Did it turn out for you, or? I know it can be a little disheartening sometimes when you realize you have to go back and redraw stuff. Sucks. This guy too, thankfully, is one of the more simple character designs in the game. For my comic book friends, okay, you guys know when you're looking at something that's got like all these little like bits and pieces and stuff, like this character would be, I'd want to hurt myself. I had to draw this like panel after panel, pages after pages. So that's why like a lot of superhero comics right back in the day, they all had like super simple designs, so you just hammer them out, right? So good. So this guy, you know, like look at all the, I'm not saying like I nailed it or anything, but there's just a lot of stuff, right? This guy, nothing. But the stuff he does have is pretty pretty cool. Like this belt piece is actually really important. It's like a major part of this character's design for sure. Let me just try something here. Just want to clear this up so I can see what the hell I'm looking at. When you start drawing over your, when you start drawing over artwork, I'm in the wrong layer altogether. When you start drawing over previous lines like this, like the red and the blue, give you a little bit of a mind job. So we're just gonna, I'm not erasing, I made a new layer above this stuff and I'm just filling it in white. That way I can see it, you know what I mean? We can see it. Save that up. Kevin, the way you're experimenting with silhouettes is very smart, as in how you're using previous characters. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, like with stuff like this, I found I've been fortunate to work on some like fantasy and like Dungeons and Dragons style stuff. And when you have a lot of characters that you have to draw, and they're all in like the same world, like an illustration, you know, it's super important. So it's you know, characters like when they're just standing like this guy, a lot of that works out well because you can just, you know, draw one guy and then keep using that shape over and over again for the other characters. And it just makes everything kind of cohesive, which is a big deal. Okay, let's get this big. And then he gets like these, they look like knee pads. I don't know what the hell they are, but they're gold. And this one's actually, I feel like we're going to be done this probably in an hour. Depends on how fast the line art goes here. Just because even the coloring, it's all super simple here. There's not a lot of like moving pieces. I'm going to adjust, he's got like a little skirt blown in the wind. Let's make sure it covers his business. But we can kind of use this to drape a little bit. And I literally think that's it outside of his crater, or its crater in its chest. This part's pretty cool. We're going to have fun with this one. We're going to fill it in black, but what's really cool, what I like about the person, the way they designed it, is it looks like it's moving chunks in here. So that's going to be fun to do. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's go ahead and pull the line art from the brute. Is that it there? Okay. Okay, let's copy that. And I'll show you why we're doing this in a second here. So put that there, and we will erase. There we go. So I want the same base, like I said a little earlier, but it's pretty important. This guy's like almost like a, you know, an earth elemental, if you had to think about it in fantasy terms. So I want to have like some of that. Let's get a little plane action going here. So this can kind of come here, and then it can come back in this way. So it's similar but different. What's that? You managed to fix whatever messed up, finished it, but changed background maybe because I don't really like it too much right now. Cool, cool. You getting more and more followers on Instagram yet, or what? What's going on? Alright, let's try something here. Something's feeling a little I don't know. Let's do lines. Actually, let's do rough 2, so we can always go back to it. Oops. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually delete all that. And we're going to merge all this. Feel like this we might be able to move a little bit. Just to give a little bit more room to that face. I feel like the face is getting lost a bit. I think that's better. Something like that. I think let's also try doing this too. Their head is like it's an interesting shape. When you're working with these chibi stuff, it can get a little, you know, like everything fits into a template, so it's hard to break away from it. I'm wondering, maybe we can make this feel a little bit more like it's a triangle. I think that's actually better. I know it looks kind of weird. And then I'm just going to make it a little bigger. Because with this chibi stuff, the heads are always... Heads and eyes. Super important. That's what I'm doing here. In my head, anyways. I'm trying to make sure that there's still, like, structure going on here. Right here looks a little bit like it's... Structure's super important in anything we're doing. Just gonna draw through here. Just want to see. If you don't take your time with structure, a lot of this stuff just goes down the toilet. Okay. Well, one last thing here. Let's go ahead and just increase the size of this. The reason I wanted to stream this too, guys, is I know it's a different style than a lot of you guys are used to. Well, I've been doing it for a little while now, but people have been asking about seeing this stuff, as well as I just wanted to kind of talk about really this right here, what I'm doing, what I consider the most important part, and I keep saying it, trying to make sure I hit that home, so it resonates with some of you. that like this is super important. If you're not spending the time to do this, it doesn't matter how pretty your artwork looks. People will be able to, if not you, people that are looking at your stuff, they'll be able to, something feels weird. And sometimes you can't see it. It just, something feels off and you got to show it to other people, you know? So it's good to just spend a little bit of time. And usually, and again, it's not that you have to show other people your work to get it improved. They might just explain it to you before you're even aware of it. But usually what it is because this stage right here, you're not spending as much time as you should cleaning it up. Or not cleaning it up, making it, making sure the structure works. Because if this doesn't work, it's not going to work later, guaranteed. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab everything. And we're just going to move them. I just want to have them more in the center of the image, you know what I mean? Alright, so we'll see how it goes. Just make sure. I like to jump back and forth with other ones so I can still keep my reference in my mind where it should be with this stuff. Okay, so we got that. Go there. We're going to duplicate that again. We're going to call this one line art, or lines. Okay, it's flattened. Go ahead and boom, knock the transparency back. Alright, we're going to open up the brute. It's a brute. And make sure I got my line art right. Cool. Alright, well let's start with the difficult part. Let's get the head going here. And I've gotten a lot sloppier with this stage. Some things need to be adjusted. Like as you go, you'll just feel things a little different, right? Like this, I'm going to bring his eye in a little bit more. But I've gotten a lot sloppier in this stage because I know once we get to the inking, we can clean it up. It's been years of just trying to get this to work. When I first started working in this stage, you guys all remember, I've talked about it to death. And I'm gonna keep talking about it because I think it helps a lot of people. If this is even remotely something, whoops, you're interested in doing like this kind of workflow, but I would spend so much time making sure all the lines in the line art stage super clean and squeaky clean, you know. And the more I would do that, the less fun art became, and I was more. Hey PJ, how's it going, bud? I was getting way more caught up in making nice lines as opposed to this is just a stepping stone into the inking, you know. And you'll fix a lot of that stuff then. I'll fill that in. All right. So one thing I'm noticing here is, let me just clean this up. They're starting to look like beaks. You know, they're just supposed to be cracks. Like this right here, it's starting to feel a little not cool. All right. Let's try to get a head in here. See how it's coming. This way with her. Trying to think, because like I have all these here, right? Like it's like rock texture and stuff kind of coming in, doing all this kind of stuff. But when I color it, I can manipulate a lot of that. So I'm not too sure what I want to keep here. And this is kind of coming up like a cheekbone. I think I like that. A little bit of a triangle happening back there. Actually, you know what? Might actually work a lot better. Let's really push this. So instead of like these flat shapes, let's get the... This character's kind of like the Thing, I guess. You know, everything's rocks and stuff. So probably doesn't make too much sense to have a lot of flat, straight lines, right? So like we can break up some of these lines in here and just erase random spots, just to break up the shape. You know what I mean? So it just gives a little bit more roughness to her. All right, let's get this in here. So even though I just said I'm breaking my own rule, is I should have figured out this, the shoulder part that I'm drawing right now, before skipping into just doing it like I'm doing right now. Because I forgot when we transformed it, the shape is going to change, right? Let's go here with that. And this part. Okay, let me see something. Hey PJ, do I play a lot of Gloomhaven? Have you played it, man? Have you played? I play. I when it came out, I played maybe 2 months straight. It never left the table. It was it was always out, and then I had to put it away to get things moving around here. And I've been off and on playing a lot of Descent in the meantime, just because it's quicker to play. But yesterday, I don't know if you guys are familiar. There's a piece of software called Tabletop Simulator, and I've had that for a while, and I've just started to get super comfortable with it. So what I've been able to do now is on my desk is on the one screen, I can have Tabletop Simulator to simulate all of the board pieces, so the characters and all the minis and stuff like that. And then I just use an app that does some of the other background stuff, and then I just use the characters on my desktop. Or not on the desktop, on my actual desk. So the characters to play the ability cards and stuff. It's great. I played, I think, 3 games yesterday. I only play solo. With 2 characters right now. I used to play 4 characters, but I've only played it once with people. And it was actually my brother and a couple of our friends. And I don't think they got it. I mean, it takes, in my opinion, it takes like a couple playthroughs. And if you don't play a lot of heavier board games, it can be a little overwhelming, you know. And especially once you realize that the game's more like a puzzle than it is just kicking down a door and killing everything inside of it. I don't know. I really like it. And just being able to play it on my computer and with like real cards now, it's been rejuvenated. Oh, you do play? Cool, man. Yeah, you got a regular group. I play the Mind Thief. Oh, sick, dude. We have a Cragheart in our group. Right on, man. Okay, so since you're a fellow Gloomhaven fan, and I want you to be super critical here, don't hold back punches. How are these chibis looking? Do they feel a little bit, or hopefully, do they feel like they belong? Do they feel like how you imagine them to look? And the answer can be no. Yeah, I use the app for the monsters too. I do like the paper one. I prefer that sometimes, like to get away from the computer. But like a friend at work, he said the same thing. It's hard not to use that when it just speeds things up so much. Like it just adds. It allows you to play more games. So, kind of makes sense to use it, right? Oh, thanks, man. Right on. Okay, good. Appreciate it. I'm not trying to push a sale on you at all, but I do know there's some Reddit people, Reddit people that have messaged me. I'm gonna release like the set of them, and I want to see if I can find somebody to do like 3D sculpts, or maybe I don't know if this is the thing I need to look into to finally learn some 3D. Because I've had a few, and this is crazy. And actually something I think a lot of artists. So this relates to people that are watching this now or later. It's super important, man, to like branch out. Not necessarily out of comics. I don't think comics are evil or there's anything wrong with them. But you never know where you could get interest and stuff. So, I've been getting a lot more into board games, mostly just to play by myself. I know that sounds fucked up, but in sharing that stuff, I've had like commissions and things like that that I would never have really gone for or done before. But it's interesting to me, and you hear people say it all the time, or maybe not all the time, but often enough. Branch out. If you want to do comics, there's nothing wrong with that. Keep doing comics, but there's always, if you want money, there's ways to get more money. Not that comics doesn't pay enough, that's not what I'm saying. I just mean, in general, if you would like more cash, you can make money as an artist just doing different things, right? And I don't think there's nothing different or new about that statement. Anyway, what do we got here? If you do branch out into 3D, Blender is free and easy to learn. Dude, my awesome guy I work with, Ted, he does a lot of Blender work, and I'm so happy that he does because I get to see someone kind of doing that stuff. It's kind of like when you come onto a stream watching me draw or somebody else draw, you can see it, and it just changes. You can see things a little different. It makes things a little bit more approachable. So, yeah, I'm glad he's doing that too. But yeah, Blender for sure. I've heard a lot of good things, and even Kevin. Kevin, are you into the 3D stuff still? I know he sent me some links from time to time. I'll actually be playing some Gloomhaven after this, to be honest with you. Do you play solo at all, PJ, or do you just, or do you prefer? Are you one of those? And there's nothing wrong with this either. One of those board gamers that you can only play board games with other people, or you just prefer to play them with other people? I think one of the cool things about Gloomhaven for me, in like Descent and a lot of that's sort of what I like, the dungeon crawly kind of stuff, is that it feels like a tabletop RPG. Not necessarily. I like Dungeons and Dragons, but like Baldur's Gate, that kind of stuff. Those old isometric Gloomhaven, especially, just because of how slow it can be. It can be quick for sure, but it's one of the things I dig about it is that it is tactical, right? So it reminds me of like the old BioWare RPGs, and I can get into it as if I was playing one of those computer games without it being on a computer. Like slowly grinding, leveling up characters, story progresses, that kind of stuff, right? Kevin's saying Daz, D-A-Z, for figure ref. I'm not sure. I'm not too sure what that is there. Sorry, bud. PJ, you playing groups? Okay, I enjoy the social aspect. Okay, that makes sense, and it gets you hanging out. Yeah, a lot of people. I've always heard that. There was one little group I was playing with that they got together like every Wednesday to play, and it was a lot of fun. I just came to the realization that for me, like what I got a kick out of doing with board games is it's not socializing is cool, but like I want to get into it. I want to get into the meat and potatoes. I want to play these games that you got to grind hours into just to get the game going, or play through a campaign and stuff. And sometimes, or more often than not, I would say, at least in my experience, the group that you're playing with, they're not necessarily all going to be doing that exact, like they're not playing to do that as well. They're playing for just to do the socializing and have fun. And so I don't get the enjoyment out of that. So I had to stop going to those because they're fun. But like if I could just, this might sound fucked, but if I could just stay home and play a game and just grind out and have fun. Again, to me, it's more like playing like Final Fantasy or something like that. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are playing it. How long have you guys been playing for now? And by the way, I just wanted to add because you said that since I got back into it, I just started. I think like re going back into the campaign I was playing before. I just it's been so long. Like I said, it's been I don't know maybe 6 months since I played. I don't know if it's been that long. Maybe it has. Then I started to forget a little certain things, so I'm still continuing in the world and all that. I just rolled 2 new level 1s, and I haven't played them yet, so I'm playing the Cragheart here and actually the Mind Thief as well. Super tricky, super tricky, and I'll say stuff that people aren't gonna understand here, but I'm just gonna talk about it. Uh, so the Cragheart, I was just actually reading before the stream. There's a lot of like player guides and stuff, which is pretty sick. Um, and people, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go with like it's like a ranged build here for the Cragheart. When I first saw Cragheart, I thought it was more like a tank. For those of you that don't have any idea what the hell I'm talking about in RPGs, doesn't necessarily seem that's total way to do it. So I'm gonna try the ranged build out with him, and the Mind Thief is a little bit more needs to get in people's faces to do stuff. It's tricky because the Mind Thief, who's a little rat by the way. Actually, here, let me show you guys. I want to show you guys this stuff because you never know who's going to be getting into this stuff. Sorry, I just want to catch up. Kevin saying still want to get into ZBrush, but it's so complicated. Okay, yeah, ZBrush is actually something Ted brought up too. Okay, yeah, waiting for the group to get together to show a okay, yep, you've been playing for over a year. Right on, right on. Reed, how you doing? Cintiq 21 UX still holding up? Yeah, so it's holding up great. Zero problems. Which is great, you know. You buy something used, it can get a little you never know what you're gonna get into, right? But yeah, it's been great. Okay, so here's just so you guys can see. I use PureF. I've talked about it a whole bunch of times. Just to gather all the reference. So this will be one character that I'll end up doing. So we got the Tinkerer, great class. It's all the starting ones. So the Cragheart's the one we are working on. Oops. I'll show you that. You guys can already see it. Who cares? Load. What else we got here? Scoundrel. Love the Scoundrel. It's like one of the only humans I think in the game, right? Or one of the few humans. Just love the design. Like this is the stuff I talk about here that I love from like fantasy, right? Is like these reds, but like this like neon poison green. Just looks great. It's like the subtle detail too. Look at this, all the knives and stuff inside. This like friendship bracelet looking thing. These are things that a lot of people aren't going to notice. I don't think that play the game. It's more like they just get the overall look. But for me and for you guys as designers and stuff, this is what's really cool, right? Like knives, keys everywhere, just loaded up. This sucks if you're a comic book artist and you're doing like a Gloomhaven comic because you have to draw all this stuff over and over again. All the ninja stars. Really cool. Really cool. What else we got here? Mind Thief. This one's going to be fun to do. The Vermlings. They're like these... Like what? Would you call them a cat, right? It's like cats. But the Mind Thief's sick. Does a lot of like mind control, right? See him just controlling all these things, living in the sewers, doing all this stuff. Really cool. Having a lot of fun with that class. What else we got? Yeah, Spell Reaver is the one you guys saw. These are the ones like I was saying, they live in the mountains and shit. Let's see if we've got... Oh, I thought I had the Brute. I guess not. And then the one we're doing right now. The Cragheart. So yeah. The designs are real slick. I usually refer to him as the rat. Can't blame you. Alright, let's clean this up here. How's the rest of this go? Okay, so we're coming in this way. We're making a block. Or a square, I should say. Okay, let's fix this up because I'm losing that twist in the body, so I got to make sure that we get some lines coming this way. So you get that twist. I don't want it looking like the chest is going this way and then just snaps all the way over here. When you're using word with like anatomy, you know, with abs, you can get the eye to go over there and believe it. Not with this here. Okay, so I got to go back to my line art here. Is it 3.5? Is that right? No, 4.5. There we go. When I'm working on the chibi stuff, the line art there, I have smoothing turned on. It just adds to the, you know, just to bring it all together. But when I have to do stuff like this, it's a little bit more, you know, organic and ripped up. Smoothing looks like shit when you're doing this. So we don't want that. We're going to have to go in here and just turn that off. Actually, I think what I'm going to do while I'm up here is, what's on this layer? Okay, we're going to get some more of these ripped clothes over here while we're doing it. Okay. Cookie, I'm going to go for now. Thank you. Hey, appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day, Chief. PJ, also John, when you put out the collection, I 100% make it a purchase. Our gaming group will love it. Oh, thanks, man. Just reach out to me. I'll give you the bro discount. Sound good? Well, thank you, sir. I'm hoping that like maybe I could get people, like pictures of people with them. I want to I could see where this could potentially snowball into like doing this for like everything in the game. But it might be ridiculous, you know, like when you get like cave bears. See you, Kevin. Appreciate it, man. Hope you're well. When you get things like cave bears, right? It's like chibi bears. Who cares, you know, so much? But might be interesting because somebody said this and I didn't even think about it. I was just doing this for, you know, because it's, to me it's fun. But printing these out and then making them just standees to put on the board because it'd be kind of fun. But there's a lot of other characters I haven't even seen yet. I haven't even unlocked yet. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it goes. But I definitely think it'd be pretty cool to have little chibi characters on the board. For those that wanted them. Might look a little weird. It's probably for those people that have played a whole bunch, you know, and you want just little something different. Okay, we'll go there with that. Let's just do one of these. Sometimes you can get lost in these guys after a while. Alright, let's erase all this here. Okay, I think that's it. I'm getting some juicy inking. Okay, so he's got a little bit of, I don't want to forget about this. Actually, let's go back and bring out our organic brush here. It's not a cape, but he's got like these, it almost looks like he hulked out. He's got like some ripped up cloth. So make sure we're framing that right. And then let's get this piece of rock he's floating on. How's this looking? We'll see. How long have we been streaming for so far? Let me see. I'm trying to time how long these are taking. So it's been an hour? Okay. So I feel like these things take about 2.5 hours. Depends. Alright, so we got all of our liner. Let's see if we turn all this off. Okay. So we got this. And we're going to duplicate that to lines 2. See it later. Clean all this up. Okay, so the ground and so is that 5? Okay. Sorry guys, I'm just doing some trying to make sure all of my line art or my line weights are going to be the same. So this is 5. It's fine wherever I put that new rock. Oh, see, I'm a dum-dum. Put it all in the same layer. Actually, here, let's try this. Let's cut all this out. Okay, so let's put these together. All right, so we're going to have all that. Let's get all that done there. We can merge all this. So I'm just sort of cleaning up as we go here. So this is going to look a little weird, but it'll get fixed up. Once we get to inking, you'll see. What we're doing is we're looking to close up all the lines here because we're going to put like a little line art layer around everything. It's just like it'll turn into a contour layer. You'll see what I'm talking about. Let's go here. And I'm trying to make sure, see how there's like a gap here? I'm going to close all that stuff. Go there like that. Okay, cool. So, hey Philip, how you doing, buddy? I know it's been a long time. We're all old now. Well, we're all getting older now. All right, so if we use our wand, should just select everything, right? Click in here, make sure we got all our interiors. Cool. We're gonna hit the magical F9 button. Now this, I believe, I didn't check it out. So this is 8 and 5. So this, we'll put an 8. Boom. And this, hopefully, still works. Cool. 9. Turn that to a 5. So now what I'm doing is it's just we're getting ready for inks. This is all we're worried about here. So you see how I said This guy's legs are going to get all mangled up. It's not a problem. Just going to group them together. I'm going to put a little clipping mask. Jeez. So select all that. We'll select all that. And we'll hit delete on the clipping mask. Cool. So if we turn it back up, right? So now he's back there. We'll clean it all up with the inking when we get there. So we can save. Now we're going to do the fun stuff, the inking. F11. Whoops. I keep hitting the wrong thing. Okay, F12. Rename it to inks. Sweet. So once we have the inks, what we can do is merge everything together because it doesn't matter. Get the line art, so it's just clean, nice, clean line art. Make a new layer, and then I like to grab my signature. It's just easier. It's not that the signature takes a lot of time, but I guess we'll put it in here. Yeah, down here looks good. Rotate it, bang. Sure, look at that. Okay, let's get to the fun stuff, guys. Juicy inks. Okay, so we're gonna go here. Okay. Was it lighter? I think it's just inking. Okay, so a lot of these we're gonna change the color of them too, but like this isn't going to be black like you'll see in a second. His eyes. Actually, you know what? I hate sensitivity turn on my inking. It just feels like lag. Alright, there we go. So you see what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of black here. It's going to pop too much if we keep it this way. So I'm going to turn it to like a nice light brown or something like that. But for now, it doesn't matter. And in this stage, all we're worrying about here is like cleanup, clarifying things. So you see like when I did my line art, and things don't always get perfect. Like there's still kind of chunkiness in there. But you see how like rough this eye looks? That's what I was saying you can clean up. You can just go back in white, you know, boom, clean that up. Doesn't matter. So when you're doing your like line art stage, you can keep things kind of, you know, quick. You don't got to worry necessarily about. Actually, let's see if we open that up a bit. I like that. So it looks here. I don't hate it. Let's go back in history, see what that looked like. I think we're leaving it. Okay, let's get his mouth here. Whoops, because that's all. Boom. Okay. This is what I was saying a little earlier. So you see how like this is going to start looking really like heavy, like a lot of rendering or something in here with all these rocks. We're going to change the line art color of this stuff because it's too much. To me anyway. It just feels like your eye can't not look at this kind of thing. And I don't want your eye drawn right to all the detail in the character. Because a lot of these chibis, they work better when they're simple. I find you can get more complicated with the coloring as opposed to like the detail of the line art. That little bit of dimension to the little stones in this guy's head. Hey Paul, welcome in. Sunday fun days, man. I don't know why I just said that. Put a little bit of that rock in like that. And for those of you guys that are just coming in a little bit later, we're working on some chibis for a board game called Gloomhaven. I've already done a few of them. If you guys are following me anywhere online, you've probably already seen them the last couple of weekends. I want to start moving pretty quick on them. I'm slacking a bit. I'm more interested, not more interested, but it's like I'm playing the game more than I'm drawing. Nothing wrong with that, but let's see if we move that in like that, how that looks. I'm trying to see if we can give some direction to the eye here. Yeah, it's a little better. Do 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 do. All right, fill that in. This is like one of my favorite parts in the whole character. It's like the sunken in chest, because we can go in here and do this, right? Yeah, look at that. Adding in white rock chunks just gives it this detail that I don't think you can necessarily get with just working and just, you know, filling it in with line art. Yeah, it looks good. All right, let's start separating some of these forms. This usually doesn't take that long. I know I said earlier that this is like one of the easiest characters to draw because there's not that much design, which is true. But there's still, he's got more, I'd say, texture work. And I don't want to go too nuts with the textures, but and again, drawing in white, right? We can break up some of this stuff so we don't always have just straight lines everywhere. Sometimes it looks a little better. The things aren't always so clean. Alright, so here's something I gotta check. In here, right, like I've done it with the mouth. I know I'm gonna change the colors. Some of these things, like we get like a gray or something coming through, so it's just a flat black. But here we would normally have like, this would probably, right here, it'd probably look something like that. I don't know if I've done that with the other areas, so let's take a look. So this guy's eyes are a good example. I'll be going in there and changing the way those kind of look. I got black there. Do we fill in any black here? I don't think so. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave that open. That way we can get some color in there. And with this style too, I'm not worrying about like cast shadows. Worry about that with just the coloring. We don't need it right now. All right, it's coming along, and it's kind of getting chunky and gross. Actually, you know what I'm going to do here for you guys? I have it on the off screen here, but I always forget when I stream. It's more appropriate for you guys to see it. This might be super small for you. Let me just zoom in a little bit, just so you guys can see what the hell I'm inking. Because I'll be zoomed in so much that you can't, you know, like what the hell is this? Siege, you're welcome, man. It's been a while. I am drawing a Cragheart from the board game Gloomhaven. It's like, I don't want to call it, I guess it's a series. I'm just drawing the starting characters from the game. I'm selling the prints online for those that are interested. After this guy, we've got 3 more, and then the starting 6 are done. We'll see what we're going to do after that. Yeah. Rebecca, how are you doing? Seizure, still rocking the Chibi? Yeah. Yeah, still doing this. Having a lot of fun with it, man. This is but like lately, what I've been doing at work is this kind of style with one of the projects we do. And a lot of the stuff we end up doing is a little bit more the feminine side. You know, like match 3 games and that kind of stuff. So I've had to tone down sort of my appreciation and what I would normally do with like art, with all the superhero muscle men and all that. I still love doing that, but the more I've drawn this kind of stuff, the more I get. I don't know. It's refreshing. It's different. It's interesting. So yeah, I've been digging it, man. Avengers, yeah, I don't want to talk too much about that at all. I'm just gonna wait a little bit and then I'll start chiming in. I don't want to say if it was good or bad. Uh, I liked it. I'll say that. Um, and I heard a lot of hype around it too, so that sort of made me go in there with a certain expectation. Um, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. What do we got here? Oh, look at the wrong screen. All right, so we get there. Keep going. I think I'm zoomed in too much. I'm starting to worry about too many details. Really, the main thing we're just worried about here is separating forms. It's like what's overlapping what. Let me sharpen up some of these lines here. I don't want to add too much texture, but this guy is a little bit of a rocky kind of look, so it's a little appropriate. No, I don't. Yeah, I guess how I worded that would make it sound like I've got a lot of issues. I don't. Um, I just don't want to chime in and, like what I heard before I went in. There's no spoilers here, guys, so don't worry about it. Um, was that it was like the most amazing thing in the world, and I kept hearing that, and the Rotten Tomatoes scores, everybody was saying, like 98% and all that. So, I mean, I went in there thinking like this is like the greatest movie of all time. And I'm not saying it was or it wasn't. I'd rather have that discussion in a couple days or like a week or so when other people are on there, to see what they think and what I think, or just to hear other people. I've watched reviews and stuff that people have said. I pretty much agree with everything. But it was fun. It was definitely a fun movie. I'd ask your opinion on it too, but I just don't want to, sort of get in that conversation just yet with people. Rather, it's still the first weekend, so. Love drawing texture. A lot of your avatar earthbending sketches. Yeah, man. No, you know what? Like, it's one of my favorite things too. I just feel when it comes to this kind of artwork, like this style, sometimes the detail can start to make it feel less fun. It starts making it feel more real, and I don't want to. I don't want to go that far with it. Not with chibi stuff, anyway. Hey, Lars, how's it going, buddy? Yeah, I'm glad you liked the movie, dude. Yeah, 3 hours seemed to fly by. I had to use the washroom twice. I went once, and then I was like, I'm holding it. Jessup King, I haven't worked on him or anything with him for a while. So I guess he's doing okay. For those of you that, haven't, we haven't chatted or you haven't been able to come to the streams for a while, not that I've been having a lot, they've been very rare. But I've stepped away from comics, um, probably for like the last, I'd say from the start of this year for sure. It's just I don't know. There's been some. We could talk about it if you guys want. There's nothing like that I hate about comics or anything like that. Not at all. Just life, I guess. The family coming on the way, on the way, I should say. Oops, let me just zoom this out here. Can I scroll? There we go. It's got baby on the way and stuff like that. Not that that has anything to do with working in comics, but I sort of just did some reflection, you know. And you guys have known. I know some of you guys have been here since some of the early days, or at least when the channel really started to pick up. And comics was one of those things I always wanted to get into because I felt like I was good at it, and I heard people say so many things, and it felt good to do it. And I still like comics. I don't hate them. But I just had to, I guess to me, I just made a choice, right? Like, keep doing what I'm doing at my day job, like what I do every day, Monday to Friday, right? And I love it. I don't think it's the worst at all. I know some people, sadly, they feel that way with their jobs and things. And at the end of the day, what it really came down to is I don't like spending 8 hours a day or even close to that just working on comics. I don't get the same when it's done. And sometimes while I'm working on it, I'll get that feeling that like, oh, this is it. And because of that, that's where I started going, okay, well, if that's the way I feel, that means something. There's something there, and I can't just keep ignoring that. You know, like when I wake up, I don't think about drawing comics. I don't even really read comics, you know, like I'll get in little bursts of wanting to read comics, but even when I go to the comic book store after about like 2 or 3 months of getting a pull file, eventually I'll go like, I feel like I'm wasting my money. I'd much rather buy trade paperbacks and stuff like that because it tells a story and it's done. So what I like to do is I'm sure what I'll end up doing is when I get back into working on some stuff, I'll be doing mini comics. Let me just close this. Mini comics, and if I ever get the energy, the inspiration to do something bigger, I'll do like what's it called? Like a graphic novel or something. But monthly issues, I have no interest in doing myself because I don't even read them, man. Yeah, no problem, guys. I didn't mean that to like throw it there and be like, hey, here we go, let's get the sympathy hats going at all. Just, hey, Momo, sorry to wake you up. But yeah, that was just it. And what I get more excited about doing this kind of thing here. And I know some people, I know there's a lot of people. I've gotten a couple comments of people that just can't stand this kind of stuff. And that's fine. I'm not making art for everybody. Even when I was doing comics, it's not for everybody. So. You wait for that turtle comic. Okay. Let's get the inks all done here. Let's take a look here. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, so we're going to do the coloring now. Let's just bring this guy up here. And we're going to go for the line art. We got like this purplish color, I think, yeah. Where are we at here? So let's duplicate that again. I'm going to go color. And the first thing we have to do is we got to merge everything. So we all got one layer. Turn it so the transparency's through. We're going to lock it, fill it. Now it's a nice little lighter color. We all draw to please others. I know, right? Let's see what we got here. Here, go F9. I'm just filling it in with a color right now because we're going to put all our flats and stuff in here. I just want to make sure everything's colored because we're going to use clipping masks. It's like stuff like this. Let's get rid of that. Largest saying, I'd rather do illustrations than comics. I'm too lazy. Read, not talented enough to draw a narrative. Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't. To your point, right? And your point's valid. There's been a lot of mixing things that I've read or heard people say because you guys all know I love those self-help stuff. You know, like, here, do this to organize your day, do this to do that, all that kind of stuff, right? But at the end of the day, it was more along the lines of, for me, the way that I look at comics. And I'm not saying everybody needs to look at it this way, and I don't think this is necessarily true, but if you're going to work in that stuff, you got to live and breathe it. Like, they just take so much time that you have to enjoy just continually doing that stuff. Some people, they might just, like, as a career I'm talking about, if you just want to do it for fun, you know, do it for fun. Get in, get out, go back to doing whatever you like. But I enjoy doing other things. Like, I could do this for today, and I'll be satisfied for a while. Like, I don't have to necessarily draw something every single day to feel fulfilled, we'll say, as an artist. I used to, because I'd always hear artists saying, if you're not working, somebody else is, you know, and it's very, I don't know, I think you can get better at what you're doing, but some people are just wired better to be workaholics, you know, or people that just, like, they want to be number one, and they'll give up everything else to become number one. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just know at this point, I've never been that guy. And comics is very much filled with guys like that. Right? So the reality is, or the question is that I had to ask myself for a while was just like, okay, well, do I want to become that guy or not? Because if I don't, then that means that there's other avenues I'll have to look into, or things that get a little different. You know, maybe look at just doing prints to make money on the side, stuff like that. Not that you need to make money as an artist, like in everything you do. A lot of the stuff you do as an artist, you should probably just be doing because it makes you happy. Right? You're probably working a day job anyway, so the last thing you want to do is come home and work. For me, anyway, it might be you'd rather come home and spend time doing something that you enjoy. So what's the point if you're always working? I don't know. But again, that's what I'm saying. Like, some people are wired to work that way. Like, they enjoy that constant work. And if you are, I mean, you're probably not here. You're probably busy working, you know, listen to a podcast or some music kind of stuff. So that's all. I don't think there's right or wrong situations for any of that stuff. You just definitely ask that question and be real with yourself. The sooner you can figure that out, the better. I was just saying, you're right. I love my job as a teacher, and I couldn't do both at the same time, and I couldn't give the teacher life up right now. I think that one day I'll do short story with illustrations. Yeah. You just figure out what works for you. And the thing is, there's a difference between giving up like a job that you like and giving up a job that's okay and giving up a job you hate. Everybody's got a different little path that they're going to be doing stuff on, you know. And I've said this before. If I was working at like a factory or 2 part-time jobs or something, my whole reasoning here would probably be a lot different. I would probably be trying to get work in comics, but that's not the case currently. If one day it were to happen, then, you know, you guys would be probably seeing streams of okay, let's start drawing comics again. Okay, let's rock and roll. Let's get this thing moving. All right, this guy's some pretty simple colors. First things first, though, let's get the Brute out here. I just want to get this rock color that he's got. Again, for those that weren't here before, all these characters live in the same kind of environment, so I'm trying to keep the base that they're on the same. I just added an extra rock for him because on his character card, he's got a rock. Okay, let's put that there. Let's delete you. Let's keep this clean. Okay, so that's the rock color there. Alright, so make a new layer, and the reason we did that is now we got this little clipping layer. For those that don't know what the hell I'm talking about with that, so if I go to color, let's pick like this blue color. Now that it's clipped to the layer below, when I'm coloring, I can go like way outside the lines, and you'll never see it. When I unclip it, that's what it looks like. So when you clip it, you keep it in there. It just makes doing flats so much simpler, in my opinion. Alright, so this guy is like a brown kind of color. So let's go, we're not going to go into brown, we're going to go maybe like into the red to keep it warm. and it's funny. You know, I think a lot of cats, when you're coloring, this took me along, and I'm still learning. Color's like a whole different beast. But like if I was thinking brown, you know, I might go over here to where it's brown. But if we go over here and you bring in more gray, it's still brown, but it's not as saturated, and it gives you a little bit more play. So see how this looks here. Just going to fill in the spots that are his skin, and then we can make some adjustments as we go. Probably don't want to see his junk. Yeah, let's undo that. We'll pick a different color to go here. Yeah, we'll put it in here maybe. What the hell? There we go. Just paint it all in. Hey Jojo, you all done your nap? Okay. Let's get all this going here. Now we're into the fun spot, or the fun time, for me anyway. Once we get here, then we get to add the shadows. And then we start working with like color balance layers and stuff, and it just really pops. Doesn't take too much time here either. Okay. And the reason I'm doing it this way too, this is very much like traditional flats, if you guys have ever done comics or colored anything. Nothing's really different here. But sometimes other colors are going to influence the other colors, so it's nice to just have them on their own thing, that we can go in there and just adjust stuff. You'll see what I'm saying. You'll see. I think actually, just now that I'm looking at this, I could probably bring it down a little bit. Yeah. Maybe. Okay, we'll go here, and then he's got like these bright gold, but they're more like orangish gold, so they're going to be highly saturated. And it'll really pop over top of him here. He's got a really cool color scheme too. Since he's all like grays and dulls, it's bright yellows and teal. It's really nice. Yeah, we can't draw that stuff, man. See how nice that is? That pops like that? It's good stuff. Alright, so this stuff here. This is like gold and teal inside here. So it's going to look sharp. Alright, let's get in there. Look at that. Just got to close these lines in the line art. Nice. Okay. Oh shit! Did I do that? Really? Fuck. See, we just talked about this, about drawing on the wrong layers. Oops. Okay, let's see if we can do this right this time. Okay, click on the right layer. Bang. cats are all waking up now. You want to help me do some color flats, Jojo? Hey, put you to work. Okay. Alright, now we need a juicy teal. So we're going like way over. Yeah, it's a little bit more green. Maybe just an illusion. We'll go like that. He's got a little bit of a pattern in there, so we're going to have to dress that up here. We'll go in there. Yeah, it's nice. Boy, that Seizure, what time is it here? It's 10:20 a.m. Nice and early. Usually on weekends I'm up a little earlier, so I can get up and do this kind of stuff. That way at least all the heavy lifting work has been done. You know. Alright, so I got the teal. So what I'm going to do here too is I'm just going to grab this. Hey, Taco. And we're going to go down here to a darker one. I like it being saturated. And let's pick... I think that'll work. And I'm just trying to put in a little pattern that this guy has. Or whoever the artist is that made it. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, you're going to have people looking at this that have played the game. And they're going to be looking for certain things. Okay, so select that, delete it, cool. Okay, so we got that. Alright, so his loincloth looking things. Yeah, what? Weird. Okay, let's go here. So this is like a gray. So if we go here, we're going to bring a little bit of red. It's a little lighter. So you can see what I was talking about with the brown on his skin, how now it's starting to get really similar. So we'll have to go in there and adjust it. It can't stay like that. We need like heavy contrast with this stuff. Alright, we'll go here with that, and then we'll darken it just a bit. So we'll go down here, bring it down. We could bring it a little lower. Right? So maybe his skin, let's see where it is. Let's just make it a little more saturated. See, like, I don't know if you guys can tell, maybe it's just my monitor, but do you see, like, to me, this looks really bright, right? And I'm only here. We could, like, go here, and this is, like, you know, pure saturation, but this looks very saturated because of the colors we're using around it. To me, anyway. I think, you know what? We'll try it. We'll keep this. We'll see how it goes. Hey, Jojo. What are you doing, Bubba? Hey, big taco. Hey, you the big taco cat. And his eyes are like a yellowish red, but like energy. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the saturation here. We're going to really play with this. But for now, we just need like a flat color in here. And then we'll do this when we get into like the special effects part. That's what I've been calling it, the special effects. Alright, we can go that way. And then we're going to lighten it up with some more panache. Okay, so let me just duplicate this, get it over on the second monitor so I can get my colors a little bit more correct. Okay, go down here. Alright, now that I'm seeing it on my second monitor, I think what we should do is I'm going to actually push these golds a little bit more. So how far are we? Maybe we can go a little higher. That's a little better. And the teal. This reminds you of a Chibi clay. I can see that. Hey, you being a big guy? You hanging out today, Jojo? Hey? Okay. You need to tell me what you think if we need to change stuff up, okay? Okay, so let's go back to... Alright, let me save this up because now we're going to get into the shading. So we're getting close to that point where it's almost done. So we're going to color here, and this is usually what I do to keep everything the same. So we're going to take a look at what we got. It's like a bright purple. I just have that on a multiply layer. And we're going to do the exact same thing with our Cragheart. So make a new layer. And again, because we got everything on that clipping layer, we just clip it. Clip it good. But what I like to do is turn off everything except this so that I can see everything in just like black or white. Or what you'll see is like shadow and actual color here. And then we'll add some more shadows and some highlights and call it a day. Okay, one last thing here, actually. What I should have did this. Just copy all of this. We're just gonna paste it. Get all that hair, Jojo. And the reason for this is because I want the same shadow color for the ground. There's no reason to redo all of that. And we'll just erase it. What Zelda want now, huh? Alright. We'll adjust it a little bit here. As you can tell, it's not all like lining up. Right, so we can do like a little highlight here. Highlight there. Okay. Enlarging it. Okay. Seizure. Never forgot to tell you, I introduced you to my roommate, and he's got inspired by your cat always visiting you, and you got one, so we called her Deku. Haha. Inspired you to get a freaking cat. I am so sorry. Okay, 1 second. Come on, Jojo. You gotta move, bud. You're getting in my way. Well, awesome. What kind of cat? What's the breed? Do you know? Or is it like a mutt? Okay, I think what we're going to do is we're going to push the left side here into shadow. So let's just block in a big chunk of it for now. And then we'll go in and we'll worry about highlights and stuff in a second. This is just an easy way to get started, I find, with these kinds of things. Like I can quickly see, okay, that's going in shadow. Same with all of this, right? This gives us a starting point. Oh no, I've got 2 cats. Yeah, I still got Zelda and JESOP. Yep. Still causing trouble. So just trying to bring out some of these rock textures here. Right? This is what I was saying, like I don't want to add line art because I know we can do it with just color. So those of you that are watching the stream right now that, want to say it, is this the part of the stuff that you guys like seeing the most? Like the coloring part? I only ask, I know it's a little bit of a weirder question, is I get different feedback from time to time when I'm doing the streams and like comments that come in years later or just privately and stuff. This stuff seems like more what people are interested in. As opposed to like, not that I would do them again really, but like the tutorial stuff I used to do back in the day. And I wonder if it's just because this is like more complete. We're getting to that point where it's almost done. It's like the final touches, the little thing that sets the artwork apart. Just goes, okay, so that's done. She's a Bengal. Oh, nice. It's a nice looking cat. And we got it from a friend who just got ginormous litter. So there's a mistake. Oh, that's awesome. Lars is saying, I like to watch the whole progress, but I'll rather watch it live than record. Okay, no, that makes sense too. Thank you, brother. It's looking a little alienish. Hey, Lawrence, how's it going, man? Rector. Oh, you guys are funny. So we're going to add some highlights and some bounce lights and stuff. It all goes pretty quick. You guys will see. Once we get towards the end here, it goes super fast. Not that it hasn't been already, but... I think what we'll do here, the little cast shadows and stuff. Then I think we'll bend the metal up a little bit like that. Give it like a nice little interesting looking texture. Maybe we'll beat this up a little bit. PJ agrees. Cool. Thank you, Lawrence. Appreciate that. The whole process is great to watch and learn something new. Right on, right on. I like to put the upload in the background. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was actually, not myself. It's just weird. But some other people have been starting to get back into that too. You know what's funny? Like I noticed, unless you guys have seen it, let me know. But it seems like there's not I don't know, like the art channels on YouTube, they're like taking a hit. Like not a lot of people on there anymore. So I'm wondering if it's just been everybody's been replaced with newer people I'm not aware of, or which is probably the case. And we'll do the shameless plug here too. So at the end of the stream, within about 10 minutes of it being done, these will be available for sale. I don't know how many Gloomhaven players we have, or even Chibi Gloomhaven, or even print people are in here. But if any of those people are watching the recording after the fact, you can head on over to my Etsy store. There should be links in the description. Follow that. And so you don't feel ripped off. I'm also, once the original or the first 6 characters are done here, after Cragheart here, we'll have 3 left. I'll be selling them all as like a bundle price. So if you want to wait for that, if you're interested, cool. If not, it's cool too. Hey, Q-Lite, welcome. Hey, Jonathan, good to catch you live again. Been a minute? Yeah, it has been. It has been a minute. Or months. Years. Okay. Alright, I think we can kind of come in here and get some of these highlights back here. Alright, so we'll say his head is coming this way. We'll go down here. Okay, just a little bit of highlights over there. I think there are so many tutorial videos on YouTube that most channels struggles with new content, and some of the bigger channels have moved on to entertainment instead. Yeah, that's a good, maybe a good way of looking at it. What channel do you guys follow still? Like, I know YouTube has changed a lot. Like I used to watch not even a lot, but a few channels. But my interests, I guess, are just I'm not interested in that anymore. Sometimes it's just listening to like discussions people are having, but even that gets a little like I don't know. Of course, the cats can start losing their minds. Dennis, my man, how you been, brother? I discovered your work with tutorials and JESOP, which is what made me stick around, to be honest. Yeah, no, I'm not really worried necessarily. Not to say whatever, but I'm not really worried about my channel. I'm grateful that I have all these people interested, but it's been a long time. First, I started off with tutorials, and it was just all comic book stuff, so I get it. And now that I'm not really feeling the comic book stuff anymore. The channel's in this weird spot. I haven't really been thinking too much with the channel, which is, I don't know, probably stupid. Because this channel's given me like everything really, with you guys, followers on other places, and all that stuff. Just, I don't know. Maybe one day we'll come back. But I don't even know what that means. Kind of like to Lars' point, a lot of cats, they just started getting into like entertainment kind of stuff. Like tutorials for me, I'm just over it. That's just not interesting to do. I'd rather do like tutorials live, like when somebody has a question, like how we used to do, somebody had a question about storytelling or this or that, we could just hammer it in. It's more like live tutorials. Lars, I don't really follow our channels anymore. I follow them, but I just don't seek the occasionally watch Jim Lee. Yeah, Jim Lee. Yeah, I guess maybe he's the guy. Everybody moved on to him, or maybe it's what it is. Maybe it's just I should spend some time checking out Twitch. Maybe everybody moved over there. It's possible. All right, we're almost done with the shadows, guys. Trust me. Trust me. One thing I want to try getting into a little bit more. Maybe we'll stream that once I get any kind of competence in there. Like I really should be doing it over the weekend instead of playing games, but games are just too fun. It's getting into the 3D stuff, right? Because I'd love to take this kind of thing and model it into 3D and rotate it, And I think that'd be super fun. Your Wednesday night streams are awesome. There's no way you could keep doing that forever. Yeah, well, the thing is that the main reason why I stopped that was... Oops, let me turn the music down. The main reason I stopped that was because I was running out of content to stream with you guys. When I was doing JESOP and stuff, it's just constant work. The one thing comic books are great for, right, is constant work. So once I stopped, like once JESOP was over, and I'm like, I was kind of done doing comics for a while. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm gonna do with you guys anymore. Can't just stream this kind of stuff. Sometimes I don't want to do it. So then I'm like, all right, well then I'm just forcing myself to like just make something so that we can have a Wednesday show. That's why they haven't kicked back up. Maybe once we start one day back into some sort of comics, we'll knock it back out. Okay. Lars is saying something pretty important here. As a teacher, he's noticed that kids don't care about process, only the final product, so they go on Instagram and such. Yeah, that's true. Adulthood caught. Okay, so let's turn everything back on here, and we'll see how this looks. Boom, there you go. That's it with shadows. So we turn it on and off. See, it's night and day. Just looks like a totally different drawing. Good stuff. Okay, so we got that. Did I do this yet? Did I stop doing that? Yeah, I was wondering if I was softening up shadows. I stopped doing that. Okay. All right, so let's go open up the Brute here. And we've got with him... where is it? It's like 2 highlight colors. So this is like the global highlight. So I'm going to copy that. Yeah, this one turned out pretty good. Alright, so go here. Just got to find the color. It's like this weird green. Delete it. Alright, now with this highlight, I don't go too crazy with it. It's just to, think of it super simple. Where I got this idea from, I do this all the time at work. Again, it works with this style. But then I found Derek Loffman, if you guys ever check his stuff out. And I was noticing he was doing this too. And then it just made sense. I'm like, oh, that makes total sense to be doing it this way. And then once I started doing these chibi things, I was like, oh man, we got like a lot of overlap in how this works. we could do like a... I don't know if I like having like a super hard highlight there. I'll just do like that. And kind of get some on his bottom little teeth there. This usually looks nice over here when it hits shadows. We'll see how it looks when it goes on there. Sometimes it can look a little whack. It just gives like this bend to the form. And I gotta reduce the color of those too. Okay. Thank you, Caesar. Lawrence said something, but he took it back. Have confidence in your words, my man. What did you say? I want to have a little detail here so people can see that. It's one of the cool things with this character is that sunken in chest. Hey.
Open the windows because it's nice.
We don't want to add this highlight everywhere. We just need it to like pop some of these forms, that's all. I'll put some on the rocks here just to separate them again. Cool. Okay, so we got that one, and then we're gonna go back to the brute, and he's got like a bounce light. His is pink. This one I usually change. Depends on like the environment they're in, you know, or like if I want like a different mood. So let's go. I'll use red for now, and then we can always adjust it later. Or this purple, I should say. But what's cool about this one is this is where you get real, like, you can really let the forms pop. Bounce light is, you know, it's a coloring secret weapon. Things that get lost in shadow or whatever, you can just bring them back. Like, check this out. Like, all of here, watch this. You put all of that under, like, a bounce light. Now you get, like, shadow under here plus there. Then, you know, you start putting it under, like, shiny forms like this. Just starts getting, it starts making things a little bit more solid. As long as you don't abuse it, you can get like a lot of play with it there. Right, like so this whole leg that was in shadow back here, we could go ahead and maybe dress it up. Right, so it looks like it's being pulled from the back there. If that makes sense. And maybe we'll put this one in. Now I'm going to leave this one in total shadow, I think. Nah, we're going to have this side here. That way at least it pops up from the torso. And I don't think, let's see what it looks like up here. Yeah, I'll have a little bit up there, I guess. Maybe we can just put it on the one side of his head. You know, something like that. And See if I get rid of these. It's weird. I like that better. And I think what we're going to do as well, we're going to select everything. Reduce the selection by sure. So let's see if we add like a little bit of light coming through here. Bring it over here. So it's super subtle. Okay, so get that. I keep forgetting. So getting stuck doing all this other stuff here. Let's get the highlights in his eyes. But we got to push back the line art here. So pick that. Let's see what this looks like instead of it being black. No. Hey, Bella. Okay, save it. Okay, so we're going to duplicate this. And this is where we wrap it up here. Okay, I call it effects, just short for special effects there. And the first thing we do is we're going to flatten all the color. Right? So it's its own layer, duplicate it in case something happens. We're going to grab this color balance. This really makes it like totally different, just so you guys can kind of see it. So I'll have it here. Sometimes this doesn't work, sometimes it works. Yeah, thanks, man. See you, Lars. Have a good day, man. Alright, so this just pushes those colors a little bit more. Okay. And we're going to duplicate those. We're going to merge them. We're going to turn that off, merge that again. And then I believe we blur this. We do, what was it? 33%. Okay. Alright, so we're going to do this blur. Gaussian blur. I saw this. There's a tutorial on YouTube I saw. And the idea is it's like the old Udon comics, but you blur all the color together and it gives it like this glow. And then we're going to clip it below, right? Like it looks pretty out of focus and stuff. But when we put the screen, was it? You see how it's got like this really slick, like it looks awesome. 33%, just a little bit. I believe it was screen, right? Overlay? Oh, we'll try that. Overlay darkens it. I don't mind it. I think what I might do though is let's try like a 50. No. Okay, and then we're gonna grab the paper texture. Everybody likes. It just lightens it up a little bit. Delete the clipping mask. Look at the artwork. I think that's it. Let's take a look here. Ain't bad either. Just like lighter color stuff. I don't know. Do you guys like it like this? Option 1 or option 2? So option 2 here or option 1? Two? Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, well, here, so we're going to do this here. Let's save it up. That's 2 for 2. All right. All right. Let's put them next to each other here. Make sure they all believe, or they all live in the same world. Yeah, looks like they all fit. You know, I'm starting to think maybe I should start pulling colors between different drawings. That way all the colors are always matching up, right? Like this gold is the same as that gold, that kind of stuff. It matches? Okay. Cool. Okay, well, thanks, guys. Like I said, these will be posted on the Etsy store in like 10 minutes or so. And I'll be putting them online so you guys can check out that. Thanks for popping in, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.